I'm honored and delighted to have Mr. Roberto Migris from Trieste, Italy, right? As our guest. Roberto is a wonderful pianist, composer, and we're very fortunate to have him as our guest next week in two concerts, in two sets, on the last day of our Summertime Jazz Festival. Roberto, welcome.
Thanks a lot, and hello to all the friends from Israel. I'm really looking forward to come.
Just for you to know, everyone, that we started our planning to invite Roberto back to Israel before COVID started. Yeah, and then everything stopped. But now we're fortunate that things are back in relatively in normalcy in the world, not in Israel, but in the world. We're finally having here in Israel after how many years, Roberto?
I believe 33 years, I think.
Because so you weren't in Israel for the last 33 years. What do you remember from your from that visit to Israel a long time ago?
Well, I remember that I was impressed by the country, that it was really beautiful and really modern, like the United States, in my impression. And about music, excellent musician I met. We played a couple of concerts in Tel Aviv. I remember a club. Then in Haifa, also in a kibbutz, and we recorded also a CD. I remember that it was my quartet plus two guests from Israel. The guitar player Ofer Israel. I don't know if he's still living in Tel Aviv or where he is, because lost the contacts. And a trumpet player whose name was Larry Smith. I think he was from Canadian origins, I remember. But we really fit very well together, and so we really enjoyed. I have a very beautiful remembering.
Okay, so after you come next Wednesday, you arrive, and we'd like to hear your impression of what changed in Israel. Anyways, let's talk about your musical career, etc. And guys, feel free to ask any questions you like, either yourself, just ask question, or write me on the chat. I'll ask it for you. Roberto, when did you start listening to jazz, and when did you start playing jazz?
Yeah, I started to be fond on jazz when I was at the college, and this was the end of the 70s. And then more and more I get involved in this music. And in Italy, there were plenty of festivals and concerts. We were in the free jazz period, but I have never been so fond of free jazz, especially the historical one. But I started to play, and I play bebop. I started from the basics. I was a little bit against the current in that period. And about my career, it's quite simple. So I am 64 now, and I recorded my first album when I was 22 in 1981. And so the first decade I mainly played in Italy, and I had the possibility to sit at the piano chair in the local club in Trieste, and I happened to play in the rhythm sections with some Americans who visited my city, like Kay Winding, Eddie Lockjaw Davis, Sal Nistico, and many others. Then in the second decade, I start to play more and more around Europe, especially in the Eastern European countries that are very close to my city. And I got more and more experience, especially with my quartet. Then I'd say in the third decade, I played more worldwide. I played tours in all the in America, in Australia, in Asia. I played even in Africa, in the most of the European countries. These with my jazz quartet, but also collaborating with other European musicians. I had founded the Europlane Orchestra, which used to be a sort of Vienna art orchestra, but with a little bit reduced format. We represent the Eastern European countries, and we play many concerts and record the albums with this orchestra. And I also had a period playing with an acid jazz band that was quite popular in that period, that kind of music. And we played tours around the world. We played in Canada, the Montreal Jazz Festival, South America, in many places. So after we disbanded, because acid jazz was finished, and also the Europlane Orchestra finished to get some support from the European Union, I had the chance to get in touch with a promoter in the United States from Kansas City. And he started to invite me to play more and more in the United States. I started to play at first in Los Angeles, where I met the famous bass player Art Davis, who you can remember him with John Coltrane in the Africa Brass and Ascension and many other famous albums. And I had a trio with him. We played in many clubs, at the Catalina, in the Jazz Bakery, many places. Then I played more and more in the United States, in Kansas City especially. I get the citizenship from Kansas City and recorded many albums there. And then I played also in Chicago in the recent years, and in Miami also. So these are used to be my bases in the United States before the COVID stopped all. In the last decade, I played mainly in the United States and also in Europe. I have a trio with a base in Prague with two excellent musicians from Czech Republic. The bass player is František Uchlíř, and the drummer is Jaromír Helešíc. And we played more than 100 concerts around Central Europe. In the years before the COVID, we recorded also 2 albums. And that's it. So when the COVID started, I decided to stop because it was too complicated. Because, for example, for me to drive from my city to Prague, I had to cross Slovenia, Austria, and Czech Republic. With all these countries had different rules. It was very complicated, too complicated to set a regular schedule.
Yeah.
Of course, people could play from remote or wearing masks, but to tell the truth, this was not my main interest. So I must say that I was away for 3 years. This one was not a very nice period, and also I lost many opportunities. But this year I am back, and so I have decided to return full time. That's
it's a great introduction. I have so many questions that derive from your introduction. But let's start. You mentioned, of course, you're living in Italy, but in Trieste, which is much closer to Austria and to Slovenia and to Croatia than Roma.
Yes, of course. That's true.
But do you say there is a distinctive Italian approach to jazz?
It's hard to say. At first, I want to say another thing before, that my city is very particular, because after World War II, my city was like Berlin. It was under Anglo-American administration in the 50s. And it became an Italian city only in 1953. And during that period, there were the American troops in the city. And so the jazz came. And so all the clubs for the American soldiers requested jazz musicians. And so it grew up a very important jazz scene in my city because of this historical reason. And so I feel a product of that scene. So the most of the musicians that were active in the 50s, they are not anymore living, but we had really a heritage, a jazz heritage from them. And so I started from that, and I mostly played in the northeast part of Italy and in the middle Europe more than in Italy. So to respond to your question, I think that every country has its top musicians, and they have, of course, some characteristics. If you, sorry?
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Something happened. Yeah. But I believe that it depends very much on which scene you have, you come from, and you have a practice. So the musician with whom you have played during your career, more than really the nationality. This is my point of view. So of course it exists. There are many excellent Italian musicians as well as there are in many other countries in the United States. But I don't believe that it exists an Italian kind of jazz, if you want my point of view about that.
That's an interesting, for me, point of view. I mean, I would, of course, Italia has a lot of avant-garde and the scene, but if I'm talking about like the mainstream, like, you know, Peranunzi and Bolani and Enrico Rava, the great Enrico Rava, etc. For me, when I listen to your music, I see more influences, of course, of American influence, and more, I would say, like Central European influence than the Italian approach to the piano, let's say. But I'm wondering if it's only me, or
no, I think that you are probably right, but that's not my decision to sound like that. It's just coming from the experience and from the musician that I've played with along my career. So I believe that European jazz has its own sound that is probably more harmonic than the American jazz. It's more focused on harmonies and nice melodies, also coming from the traditional music. That this is especially in the East Europe, that is the less known kind of European jazz, in my opinion. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, all the jazz musicians are in the shoulders of the previous musicians of the previous generation, and so all we have our own heroes and all our influence, and the most pregnant influence, of course, is American jazz. We cannot, but I believe that we can find our original way, especially in the compositions. And so every musician is a human being, so everybody has his own personality and sensibility and spirituality. So even if you are not an American black musician, I believe that you can play the blues, for example, and can say something of your own, coming from your own soul and personality. This is absolutely.
I think a perfect segue now is to listen to some of your music, and we chose another more blues from one of your latest albums, from World Gardens, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about this tune before we listen to it?
Yes, of course, it's a simple blues that I improvised in the studio. I used to have a trio in Kansas City, and we played many concerts and also recorded several albums with this trio, with two very young musicians. They could have been my sons, but both of them now have a boosting career. The bass player Dominique Sanders is living in Los Angeles now, and the drummer Brian Stever is still in Kansas City, but he's doing very fine. So that's a good example of my American trio.
Perfect. So let's listen to another more blues. None More Blues, Rouberto Migris Trio. And next week you're going to play with a trio with two great Israeli musicians, Gilad Abro on contrabass and Shai Zellman. You're going to meet them, you're going to really enjoy them. You mentioned that early on in your career you played with some jazz legends, with the great bone player Kay Winding and the two great tenor players Eddie Lockjaw Davis and Sal Nistico. The three of them were basically at the end of their lives, I think, when you played with them. What stories or what can you tell us about these three legends?
Well, yes, I believe that the concert with Kay Winding was his last one, or one of the last, because he still was ill, and he had some difficulties in breathing. And so actually the band was included two trombones, also the Italian trombonist Rudy Migliardi, a very good one. And so they alternated in the solos, and we played mostly bebop, but with a swing a little bit early, swing approach. Yeah, it was a really gentleman. It was very, with a plumb. It was like an English gentleman he looked. A very nice remembering. I was very young, so I was very concerned about, but things went very easy when you start to play. So you have no time to think about if he would like or not. I just played, and so at the end, it was okay. And we about Eddie Lockjaw Davis. I was impressed by his sound. It was really true that he had this locked sound. It was very aggressive approach to his instrument. And so he also played some Kansas City, Count Basie style songs, and was very catchy concert. And about Sal Nistico, he played some great ballads, but he also was not in good physical conditions, I would say. It's also after some years he passed away.
He was an addict at that time, right?
Yeah, you say that. I wouldn't say, but yeah, that was the reason. Yes.
One of the most amazing musicians, tenor player of all times. In my opinion, of course.
Yeah. Very underrated.
Yeah. True. You mentioned that you have a really strong connection with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Tell us about this connection. How did this happen? You said that you received the citizenship from.
It is really unbelievable to me when I think about that, because I had the possibility to play in Los Angeles, but this happened through a promoter from Kansas City who put me in contact with Art Davis. And after we played successfully in Los Angeles, he wanted to bring me to Kansas City. All the African American community. And I'm very proud of that, because they really welcomed me, and I felt at home with them, and they really brought me in many places, totally unexpected places. For example, I met the Jay McShann's family. I was supposed to record the music of Jay McShann's and to meet him, but while we were talking about this possibility, he suddenly passed away. So it was really a sad story. But nonetheless, I was invited to his house. I met his daughter and his grandson, and we played a celebration concert to remember, to celebrate Jay McShann at the American Jazz Museum. And in that occasion, also the city of Kansas City, the town hall, gave an endorsement, and so I was appointed of the Kansas City citizenship. Yeah, it was really a great honor for me, because in Kansas City there is the American Jazz Museum and the Blue Room, that is a connected. It's a very famous club. I played there several times. And so I get more and more involved in this scene of Kansas City. For example, I recorded and I played with a very young Logan Richardson. He really was at the very beginning. He's recorded, he's in one of my albums. And now also trumpet player Herman Meharry, that he now is living in Paris, also started. And so, okay, I forgot, very important. The name of my promoter is Paul Collins, and he founded the J Mood Records. And I have recorded in Kansas City. I have recorded, I think more than 20 albums for him, in different formats. And yeah, so many friends there. A saxophone player, Jim Mayer, who is at the Kansas City Cancer College. He is the director of the jazz school there. He's a very respected jazz school in the United States, and so many friends there. Yeah, really, I feel at home there.
And of course, Kansas City. Of course, Kansas City is one of the most important cities in the history of jazz.
Yeah, of course. It's unbelievable how many musicians made the history of jazz coming from Kansas City. Charlie Parker, of course, and Mary Lou Williams. But even Ben Webster and even Pat Metheny. Pat Metheny is from a city very close. Lee Summit is very close from Kansas City. So dozens of master musicians coming from that place.
And of course, the Count Basie Orchestra was made famous there in Kansas City, etc. I mean, like, it's one of the most important cities, jazz cities in the world, if not one of the most important. So it's amazing that you have such a connection with this city. You recorded so many albums in so many formats, like from solo to duo to trio to albums with the horns, etc. Which format do you like best? Which is your favorite format?
Yeah, it's difficult to say, but probably the trio, piano, bass, and drums. It's a classic trio. It's maybe my favorite. Also because in recent years I played with this trio from Prague so many concerts, and really I'm used to the dynamics of the trio. But okay, every format has its own. It's different. It really is different. It's hard to say because the kind of programs I like to change the programs. I mostly play originals of mine. I like to compose, to arrange. So, also the quintet I like very much. Quintet with the trumpet and sax is also a great format to me. Yeah.
So the quintet is going to be the second concert that you'll play in the Summertime Jazz Festival. First one is a trio, then a quintet, of course, with the really nice trumpet player Asa Cook and an amazing sax player called Jonathan Cohen. Gonna love them, I know. And in Summertime Jazz Festival, you're gonna play a tribute to Lee Morgan. You recorded actually two parts of an album tribute to Lee Morgan. Why you didn't record any other tribute albums? I guess I think.
Yeah, I know. I recorded a tribute album to the jazz funk period of Cannonball Adderley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the reason is that at the very beginning, this promoter Paul Collins, of course, he trusted me. Of course, he liked me to support me, but his idea was that I should have started in the United States playing some tributes to get me more and more known. So he proposed to me to play some music with from other composers, and more he get used to and gave me more and more space to do. And at the end I only played my music, and I was complete leader of the sessions. And he had a connection with Albert Tutti Heath, the drummer, the brother of Jimmy Heath. And so he arranged a recording session in Kansas City with Tutti. And in that first occasion, we recorded either one album on a quintet. Tutti was a friend, a pal of Lee Morgan. They spent their musical youth together because, okay, I don't remember the city now. They come both from the same city. And so he had many stories about Lee Morgan. Philadelphia, yes, Philly, yes. And so, yeah, so we recorded this album with Logan Richardson, yes, and Brandon Lee, that also another really outstanding musician in the States. And also we recorded 2 albums on trio with Tutti Heath. And so Paul was so enthusiastic about the result of this tribute that he wanted to do a more one. And so after a couple of years, we made another reunion with different musicians. And he asked me to prepare another more program on Lee Morgan. And so we had to play also some concerts. And so we had so many songs that the final result was a double CD. So actually I recorded 3 albums on Lee Morgan. But I really like his music. It's really beautiful. It's a mix coming from the tradition and of course Art Blakey, but going also to modal jazz and more modern atmosphere. So it's really the kind of music that particularly I like. I like also to listen.
So let's listen to your version of Speedball, one of the Lee Morgan classics, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Speedball. Wait, that's better. Speedball by Lee Morgan, one of the classics, and I presume you're going to play it in our concert, in our festival as well, right?
Yeah, sure, yes.
One of my favorite, actually. Maybe Mr. Kenyatta is another one. Roberto, I have a question as a pianist. How would you suggest to a young jazz musician, especially to a young pianist, how to gain his own voice, not to be like too influenced from other musicians, other pianists?
I think that, okay, I will say what I say normally at my master classes, that pianists in Europe come from classical music and think about the piano as an harmonic and melodic instrument. But actually in jazz, the piano is in the rhythm section. And so we need to remember that piano is a percussion instrument, because when we press the keys, there is a percussion, and we can do the rhythm with this instrument. So I think that I had classical studies, but when I met jazz, I was very impressed by the rhythm. And I think that to think rhythmically, the piano can give you a chance to better understand what's jazz music and what can be your direction as a jazz pianist. Also, I talked to Herr Geller, by the way, and he also told me that he had a song that I don't remember. He used to sing a song to his students, in which he also sang that at first came rhythm in jazz, at second came melody, and the third come harmony. Of course, that's a statement. That's not a law. Everybody has his own idea and point of view. But I share the same idea as her. So I think in jazz, at first it comes rhythm, and especially for the pianist. So of course you can do a phrasing, you can do beautiful, you have to do a beautiful phrasing, and also to try to use the most beautiful harmonies, but all within a rhythmic frame. This is very important, especially with the perspective to the future, where jazz is more and more mixed with different kind of music, especially in the ECM style, with some classical atmospheres I think we never forget the rhythm. I don't mean that it must be swing 4/4 swinging. I understand this, but the rhythm is very important. That's my idea.
What music do you listen to now? I mean, jazz, non-jazz?
Yeah. in this period, I was listening to Bill Scott Heron. That is very strange, maybe, but all music from the 70s with a strong political. but it was the moment. Yeah, I like to. Not special. On my back, you can see hundreds of CDs that I have in my private collection, and sometimes I go there and I pick something out and I listen. I like also very much also swing and from Robert Glasper or whatever. No, I try to be open-minded. I have some friends in the United States, especially Abe Goldstein, who lives in, by the way, he's also from the Jewish community, and he lives in a Des Moines, in Iowa. He is a big collector of music, and so he from time to time he sends me some things that he think it can be interesting to me, and probably not very known musicians. So It keeps me updated.
Well, you may know that in Israel in the last 33 weeks, there's a huge movement of demonstrations, etc., against the government. And I gave a lecture 2 months ago about the importance of politics and social awareness in the jazz tradition. Like, for me, so when you talk about Gil Scott-Heron, and this is exactly this. Yeah, a lot of music was in the 70s was political and spiritual jazz, of course. One of the most underrated periods of time in jazz, I think. We're almost coming to an end. I want to choose a last song that we'll play, and I give you the options. You mentioned Herb Geller. Herb Geller is an alto sax player, one of the jazz legends of West Coast jazz. And then he moved to Germany, to Hamburg, I believe.
Yes,
and
that's right.
He was there for the rest of his life. An amazing musician, amazing sax player, also underrated. And so I give you the choice of whether to play from your album, maybe Il Bello di Jazz, or to play in a sentimental mood from live in Melbourne, and without Herb Geller, to see your more ballad side. So it's up to you.
Yeah, you shouldn't have asked me this. No, I okay. I would choose something with Herb, maybe something from the live album, from the Live in Europe. He played a fantastic concert. If you have it on.
No, unfortunately, I don't have it right now on my.
Oh yeah, okay. So you can use the Il Bello del Jazz, yes, or No Sadness, maybe. If you have that album, the first song is amazing. He wrote me the arrangement for this composition of mine. I think it's the first of the album.
Let's see what you have. You know what? Let's play Il Bello di Jazz, and then
yeah, okay.
I'm going to send the Israeli Jazz Society. I'm going to send them some other tracks by Herb and you. Okay, let's do it. Il Bello del Jazz. Of course, this wasn't Herb Geller. I'm sorry about that. It was from a live recording, an album from Miami from 2016 with the great lineup, including, of course, the great Brian Lynch on trumpet, Jonathan Gomez, and saxophone player, and a really nice rhythm section from Southern Florida.
Yes.
Sorry about that, and guys, I'm going to send you the Herb Geller song as well. Okay, we're coming to this end, to this meeting. I'm sorry it's so short. I don't want to disturb too many people. I just want to mention that after your two concerts in the Summertime Jazz Festival, you're going to play another concert, a house concert, in another city called Neve Monoson, and you're going to play a duo set with the great tenor sax player Jonathan Cohen, which I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I love I don't know about you, I love the intimate atmosphere of a house concert, and the duo is like one of my favorite formats, I must admit. So I really looking forward to it. Roberto, like final words for the jazz fans, for people who are looking forward to meet you next week.
Yes, of course. I'm really looking forward to meet them and to share my music, my spirit and spirituality, possibly, to reach your souls. That's very important. Of course, I'm very looking forward to meet the musicians on stage. I'm sure I will enjoy and will remain impressed. To me, also, this second visit, the same way, even more than the first.
Okay, so gonna meet next week, guys. Thank you for staying with us, and see you Thursday on Roberto's concert in Summertime Jazz Festival, and then maybe you prefer the house concert in Neve Monoson. I'm gonna tell you all about it later on. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you. Hugs.
And see you soon, man.